I have officially entered my hosting era. So in today's episode, I'm spilling all of my tips on how to elevate your next gathering from ordinary to unforgettable. Whether it's an Italian soiree or a festive holiday gathering, get ready to master the art of planning, prepping, and decorating on theme so you can create a fantastic experience for your guests and truly enjoy the party yourself. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the With My Own Two Hands podcast. I'm your host, McKenna Lee, and we are having a nighttime, cozy, candlelit recording session for this podcast episode. The night kind of crept up on me because it's getting darker so much earlier now, which I love, which I wish it felt a little more like fall and it was cooler weather for sure. But hey, I'll take what I can get. So it's cozy in here. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can see I'm sitting in my kitchen. And ever since finishing this kitchen, ever since renovating our kitchen for like 5 months, the better part of 5 or 6 months, really, I have really entered my hosting era, I like to call it. I've always been one for a good party, a themed party. I'm an introvert, so I like those parties to happen at my home. I don't like to go really to parties, but for family and friends for sure, like gatherings like that. Ever since I finished this kitchen, I'm just in my hosting era. I love to like have a good theme and to have people over. And in the month of September, we had every weekend was pretty much packed with like hosting someone at our house. So my mom came to spend a little over a week with us to hang out with the baby. We also just had a baby 4 months ago. So we've had family and we've been hosting family in town to see the baby specifically. So I think it was a lot, during the month that wouldn't have normally happened. But in addition to my family that's been in town, we also threw a party here at the house for Romeo's mom and brother. And I love a good theme. I like to go overboard. I think a theme just helps me to decide and make decisions about everything that party is going to have. So from the invitation, how it's going to look, to the tablescape, to the decor, to the food that we're going to have, to the drinks, to everything about the party kind of stems from the theme. And I think it helps me kind of decide and make sense of everything that's going to be at the party and how it's going. And I just love a theme. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's like the greatest, most fun thing to do. So I really enjoy the act of throwing the party, right? I really enjoy all of the things to prep and make the decisions and make a beautiful party happen. I love all of those things. The aftermath and the cleanup isn't the most fun, but that's okay. And I like to have a theme that's not in a cheesy way. It's just something that inspires, the whole idea of the party. I'm not one to go to a party supply store and like pick a theme from there and bring streamers in and plastic tablecloths and create waste. I'm very cautious and mindful of always the waste that we could produce. That's why I love thrift shopping and secondhand clothing. Look, all the things. I like to think of all of my decor and all of the things that I'm using in a way that can be reused after, which I'll get into too, because I have some tips for you. I also don't like to use like paper and plastic plates and forks and things. For one, I like the people that are going to come to the party to actually feel like they're, eating on a real plate and using a real fork. They're not like, it's not like temporary or throwaway. I feel like the party will hit different, if you're using real plates and forks versus plastic and paper. And then that's just also waste. I'd rather wash a whole bunch of dishes than have to throw everything away. I don't like the ease of having paper and plastic doesn't outweigh the waste that I'm creating, so I'm always mindful of that. Also, I feel like I do tend to go overboard, and there's always going to be people, or a Romeo will remind me, or someone will be like, you don't have to go to all that trouble. Like it's just family and friends. Like they're going to love it no matter what. They're just here to see us. But I think I care so much. I have so much fun throwing a party and like actually thinking through all of the things. And I care about the experience that someone would have, because I feel like even though someone might not care if a lot of thought went into the tablescape or there was a theme, I think that the impact that the party will have when it's really thoughtfully planned is kind of subconscious, it could feel. Because we recently threw a party here, like I said, for Romeo's mom and his brother. And yes, it was like, I think it was beautiful, and we had all of this like cool stuff happening. But the greatest compliment was when Romeo's brother like kept thanking me. And I feel like he's like, thank you guys so much for, the party, and thank you, and thank you. And he kept thanking me. And I don't think that it was specifically because of one thing or the decor or whatever. I think it was the overall experience, the overall vibe of the party really had impact on him. And it made me so proud and happy that I could give that to him and to Romeo's mom. And we put a lot of effort into it. And I think it showed. And so I think it had an impact on him, and it made him feel special. And it was his day, and it was his birthday. We were celebrating him. And I'm a big proponent of like going above and beyond for people and making them feel special, and just making it about them, making the day feel really special, and putting in that extra effort for the theme and the tablescape and all the things, really goes a long way. So even though, yes, you don't have to put, so much effort into every little detail, and it really is about just people getting together and family and friends spending quality time together, a theme never hurt anybody. You know what I mean? So with the holidays coming up, I think all of us are going to be hosting in some way, whether you're going to have people over for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. I feel like we're all gathering. This is the time of gatherings. So if you're going to be having a party at your house, or you want a good themed party in some way, maybe you're having a Friendsgiving that you can do it for, I'm going to give you my guide. I'm going to tell you what I do. I'm going to give you all of the tools that I use in order to throw these parties, and just make them extra special, and being really thoughtful with everything that I do every season. The first one is going to be obvious. You have to come up with a theme. And sometimes this is inspired by something I see on Pinterest, because I obviously go to Pinterest and I just look at anything and everything, like I'll type, if it's, let's say it's a Friendsgiving or a Thanksgiving, and I'll type in like Thanksgiving themes. That's obviously Thanksgiving will have like its own theme. Obviously it is Thanksgiving, but maybe it's a birthday party, that you're going to be planning, and the theme could be anything really. It could be inspired by something that I saw on Pinterest, or it can be inspired by a dish, like a specific food that I want to make for the party itself, or like what plates and tablecloths and things I already have could kind of inspire the theme. So for instance, we asked Romeo's mom what she wanted for her birthday party, because it was a joint birthday, her and Romeo's brother. Romeo's brother doesn't care what we eat. He just likes food. So we asked Romeo's mom what she liked, and she picked pasta, specifically pesto pasta. And so I'm like, okay, she wants pasta. Let's have an Italian themed party. And I have a whole video on my vlog channel that I shared everything, from our menu to the things that I was creating, like the ingredients that I used, the recipes, how we decorated, the tablescape, everything and anything, like from beginning to end. So I'll leave that linked too if you want to watch it on YouTube. So when she said pasta, I was like, it's no brainer. We should have an Italian theme. And since it was going to be towards the end of summer, I didn't want to do like more of a citrus theme, like, like how you can have like lemons in the Italian summer. I wanted it to be like end of summer. And I thought about what ingredients were really in season at the time, because it was at the end of August, and tomatoes were really in season. So we did some tomato menus. We used tomatoes for the tablescape, and I'll get into the details, but her just saying that she wanted pasta kind of created the whole theme. And so once I knew we were going to do Italian, I went to Pinterest and I was like, okay, Italian themed party, Italian themed tablescapes, Italian themed whatever. And I started a board on my Pinterest, and I just saved everything that inspired me. It could have been the smallest of details, or it could have been a picture that sparked inspiration for something completely different that I wanted to do. I saved pictures of like invitations, of tablescapes, of drinks, of how they styled something, of menu items for sure. Pinterest is great for recipes. and just kind of keeping them all in one place. So as the party got closer, I could really like define the menu items and stuff. So theme is definitely like first and foremost. The second thing that I do is go ahead and make the invitation. So I really look for inspiration for the invitations first, because I do it kind of early. I do it before I've really decided on anything else. And I use Canva to make the invitation. So they have like built-in templates that you can use, but sometimes you have to pay for them because I just have a free Canva subscription. For this party, actually, I lied. I did not use Canva for this party, but I have used them before, like for our Christmas parties and stuff. I actually hand drew this invitation, and I drew like little pizzas and like little like wine glasses and pasta around a fork, and I drew it all on my iPad on an app called Procreate. And it was really fun to just like kind of draw it out, and all the text is all my handwriting, and I had fun with it. So I wanted it to feel more like written, like almost like in a color pencil, if you will. Like that was kind of the vibe I was going for. So you can either make it on Canva, or if you're super artsy, you can just draw it on Procreate. Those are two apps that I use. And I made the invitations. So we sent out the invitations probably 2 months before, or at least like a month, I feel like, because we wanted people to, get excited for it and like, schedule it into their busy days and busy schedules so that everyone could really make it. The third thing that I do is decide on the menu, and I want to have a good balance of different things. So from appetizers to the main food that we're going to be serving, to drinks and desserts, obviously. So all the things. And what worked really well for our family is having more of a buffet style type of party. It always works really well. We always have the food off to the side so that we can keep the table clear for actually eating and people to dine. And then everyone can kind of get more of something, and they can have a little bit of everything. So that's always worked really well for us. And we always make sure that to have appetizers, because right when someone gets here, like when the family's starting to arrive, people are already hungry, right? We're like, people are already hungry. We need something for them to like munch on and like, just like finger foods, because more than likely we're still working on the main food for the main like courses of the food. So they're not like done yet, because you don't actually want your food done too early, because then it could get cold if it sits. So it's great to have an appetizer, even better if it's a cold appetizer, so that it doesn't need to be warmed up, and it's still good throughout the day and people can still nibble on them. For this party, for the Italian theme, we had a charcuterie board that I make. I always make a charcuterie board because it's just a favorite for our family. It's great finger food. And also we had these caprese bites. So it was essentially a toothpick with half a cherry tomato, mozzarella cubed, and basil. And it was just that you could just pick them up and eat them. And so it was super simple, and it was cold. And we had like balsamic reduction poured on top. So like a caprese salad, but in a bite form. And we did that. So we had those ready already while we were still working on the main food. And then the dessert, came later. Once I've defined the actual menu that we're going to have, from appetizers to main food to desserts, think about where we could actually shop for those things that we're going to get the coolest stuff or the coolest ingredients to use. So since this was Italian themed party, we actually went to a place called Italy, and it's in LA. They have like a few locations. I've been to the one in New York. There's one in Chicago. There's one here. I'm not sure if they've opened more now. It's like an Italian marketplace. It also has restaurants in it, and it has all these amazing products from mostly Italian brands, Italian companies. So we knew it was going to be the perfect place to go to get all of the interesting things. I wanted glass bottled San Pellegrino. Well, they didn't have San Pellegrino, but they had like a similar one. I wanted like drinks like that. I wanted these like long breadsticks, to have on the table. I wanted like specific pasta and ingredients, and all of the tomatoes at the marketplace. They had all of the heirloom tomatoes. So it was such a good place for us to shop for this theme. And I'm not saying that you need to go specifically to Italy, or there's always going to be some place that has all of the themed things that you need, and maybe it's just you have to go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's even, and just get things that are more on theme. I thought about everything really deeply. Like I wanted all of the wine that I had for the party to be from Italy or Italian wine. We had Bellinis, which is Italian, and like all the little details. Our pasta was from an Italian company. I think I only pay attention to those small details, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it matters. So after the menu's done, I like to go ahead and start thinking about my tablescape because we have this beautiful table in the middle of our kitchen. I knew I wanted to decorate it for every party and for every holiday. And it's an opportunity to have the decor kind of on display. So when I'm starting to design the tablescape, I like to pull out whatever tableware I have that will fit the theme. So it may be a specific set of plates that I have that will work, or, like a color of like the flatware or something, because I have a few sets and a few colors so that I can use them interchangeably. And even to the drinkware, I've thrifted a lot of drinkware that I can use, that I've gotten at estate sales and things. So I use these cups that I have that have like a wicker sleeve on them that are really cute. And I think I got them at an estate sale for like $1 a piece or something like that. So I always like to have things in the house that I haven't spent a lot of money on, but make a big impact and I can use for special occasions. So I pull out the plates, the flatware, and the drinkware that I can actually use for the party. And then I choose 3 elements. I need a flower element. I need a light element, like a candle element. And I need something that's on theme to put low on the table. So for this Italian party, I knew I didn't want to use like an actual flower. I just wanted it to be like green. I wanted it to be like, basically I had a whole bunch of like herbs or basil, that was in vases, so I wanted it to be all green. So I went to Trader Joe's because they always have the cheapest flowers. I always go to Trader Joe's for my flowers. And they had seeded eucalyptus that I thought was so cool. And it kind of lightly looked like olive branch, like olive stems and stuff. So I got some of that. And I also got a different kind of eucalyptus, or a different kind of like green, like a seasonal green that they had. And I mixed the two together and did 3 shorter flower arrangements so that people could actually see over them in the center. And then I used, I have some candle holders that I used that were like blue and white because I was kind of using that theme, that going with that color. And I just used white taper candles and put some white candles kind of around. And for my themed element, since we were going with like an end of summer theme, I used tomatoes for our centerpieces. So I had larger heirloom tomatoes mixed in with like Roma tomatoes and then little cherry tomatoes to kind of like add dimension because they were all different sizes. And I sprinkled them all in the middle of the table and it created my element. And I knew that this was going to be decor for now, but I could come up with several ways that I could reuse all of the tomatoes. And after the party, I actually like roasted them all up and made tomato basil soup. So it was, we used it as decor. And of course, it was way more tomatoes than any one person or any one family could ever need. But I roasted them all down and made soup. And we had it for at least another like 2 weeks after that to eat. So when you're thinking about your tablescape, my go-to is kind of 3 elements. You need the flowers, you need your candles, and then you need something that goes with the theme. A special thank you to Blissy for sponsoring today's episode. The pillow that I sleep with every night has a silk pillowcase from Blissy on it. Silk is the best for your hair and skin as it reduces frizz, tangles, and prevents breakage because it keeps the moisture in your hair and keeps the skincare products and natural moisture on your skin. If you have a cotton pillowcase, it actually absorbs the skincare and products right off. Blissy pillowcases are made from 100% mulberry silk, which is naturally hypoallergenic hypoallergenic, so you can sleep more comfortably without reactions. And unlike other silk pillowcases, these are of the highest quality silk and are machine washable and naturally cooling. And don't be fooled by dupes out there saying satin products have the same qualities as silk, because satin is made from synthetic fibers, while silk is all natural, which is more breathable, moisture wicking, and gentle. Being 4 months postpartum, I've been very cognizant of my hair loss, so having a pillowcase that is gentle and good for my hair makes me feel so much better. Blissy has amazing reviews that you can check out and over 1 million raving fans. Clearly, everybody loves them just as much as I do. They have a ton of different prints and colors that make them great for gifts. Try now risk-free for 60 nights at blissy.com/XOPOD and get an additional 30% off. That's BLISSY.com/XOPOD and use XOPOD to get an additional 30% off. Your skin and hair will thank you. Number 5 is games. And I feel like both Romeo's side of the family and my side of the family loves to be entertained. We need to entertain people. We're obviously spending time together, but we have so much fun when there's something to do together. It kind of ignites conversation and, just to have fun together. So I always think about the games that we need, and we have games that we put out outside, especially during the summertime, so this party was at the end of August, so it was summertime. So we have like the pool games because we have a pool. So we have a basketball hoop because the guys love to play basketball in the pool. We have that for the pool in terms of a game. We have darts that we hang outside so they can play. And then also a big Connect Four, like a yard game. So I always like to have yard games during like the summer months. I feel like it's so much fun. And I can tell you all 3 of those games were played during the party. I feel like too, though, like the women, like the girls always like to sit at the table or by the pool and just chat, but the guys need to be entertained. I don't know if that's everybody, or maybe like kids, you need games for just for entertainment. At Christmas time, last year we hosted Christmas here at our house and we played tons of games because everyone was staying over. So we had a lot of time together. We played tons of Christmas themed games and we had this board that we had on the wall that was kind of like punch a prize. And every time someone would win, they would go over to the prize wall and they would punch the cups and they would get whatever it would be out of it. It could be like $1 or it could be a lottery ticket, or it could be like a little game or something that we got for, just kind of like trivial type things. It's fun. It makes it really fun. So I always like to think about the games every year and just make sure that we have them. And even if it's something that we bring out every year, it's still fun because you kind of only play it a couple of times a year. Number 6 is making your lists. And I always like to have 2 lists. I like to have my list of all of my ingredients for all of the menu items. So I go back to our menu and Romeo and I will sit down and we will write out everything that we need for every menu item. And my shopping list will have duplicates because I write down everything for every menu item. So if we have a lot of menu items that need tomatoes, let's say I needed tomatoes for the tablescape, I needed tomatoes for the caprese salad, I needed tomatoes for the pizza. We had like a pizza oven outside, so we made those. We needed tomato sauce. We needed a lot of tomatoes. I had it written down multiple times so that I made sure to get enough. If I only wrote it down once, I would wonder, how many menu items do I need that for? So I just wrote down everything by menu item on my ingredients list so that we could go to the grocery store. And then also my second list is my things to do list. It can be so overwhelming doing a party, and when you remember stuff, you can just write it on your to-do list, and it could be the smallest of things. But I find if I write it down when I remember it, I'm gonna remember to do it because it's written down. So definitely 2 lists, all the ingredients and all the food that we need and what I need to do. The next thing in number 7 is to declutter and clean your house. Obviously, you have people coming over. We always like to have a tidy house and a clean house. The kitchen is always kind of up in the air. It's always got a lot of stuff going on, but at least the main portions of the house are, really, really clean. And what I like to do when I'm about to have a party is I like to start from the beginning and work my way inside. So I'll actually go out to our driveway and look at our house and walk through our house like I am a visitor and I'm someone that's coming over. And I start from there and I do everything that I see. I'm like, okay, I'm walking up the driveway. Okay, shut the garage because I don't want anyone looking at my dirty garage. Like my garage is like a bomb went off. Like shut the garage, make sure that all of the driveway is blown off, like any leaves, all the pathway. You're walking up, like your porch. I like wash our front door. Like it's like that detailed. Like I'll scrub the front door, just over time it gets dirty. And you want first impressions, like you're walking up to someone's house, then the windows, the glass, and I think if you think about it like that, you walk up to your home like a visitor, you see so much more than just you would think about. Like you think about cleaning your house, but no, like we'll actually walk up and come up to your house. And like when you walk in, making sure that everything is just tidy from someone else's perspective. Really, really helps me. Also, if someone's going to be staying with you, if you have family or guests going to be staying with you, spend extra time in the guest bedroom and the guest bathroom. The spaces that they're going to be using a lot, making sure that they have fresh linens and fresh towels, just making sure that everything is like extra special up there because they're going to be staying there. Number 8 is planning out the serving plates. This is something I started doing years ago, and it's so helpful for us like day of. So we have in this kitchen specifically, we had planned the renovation to have a space for this buffet style food display setup. I said a lot of words, but you know what I mean. It's like an area that we can put all of the food. And so before the party, I will actually get out all of my serving plates, all of the ones that I have that I can use, and I will actually plan them for each dish the day before. And so I'll lay them all out how it's going to be staged or displayed, and I will put Post-its on them for what menu item is going in each serving platter. And so I can make sure that it's going to fit and I have everything that I need. So day of, it's just like you go over and you get the plate for the pasta or the salad or something like that. And then you can fill it and put it back where it goes. And so everything has a plan. So you're not constantly like in your cabinet searching for, oh, I need something to hold this. I need something to hold that. Everything's planned out, even down to the bowl for the dressing. It helps so much day of. So I highly recommend that. And then number 9 is to plan and prep early. Anything on your menu that you can make early, anything that you can prep early, like by cutting up ingredients or making the whole thing, making as much as you can the day before is going to save you so much time. So cook, prep, and make anything you can the day before. And it helps to take like the stress off of you too. And I like to do the tablescape the day before. I obviously don't light the candles, but I put out everything. Like I go ahead and make the flower arrangements. I go ahead and put the candles into place. I put all the tomatoes, like this for this last party, I'd already had them on the table. I already have the plates on the table, even though someone would kind of take the plate from the table and go to the buffet and actually like plate their food, but then they can come back to their spot. So always like to have all of that set up so that I'm not spending so much time on decorating the day of, especially if I'm putting more decor like in other places. Like for this party, we needed extra seating because there's much more than 8 of us. So I had another fold out table with a pretty tablecloth outside. And so I had that one set up already too with like a flower arrangement and things. So doing that stuff early is like checking things off your list, especially if it's going to keep well, like for the menu items, if it's going to keep well in the fridge overnight. And then you can maybe finish prepping it the next day. Huge time saver. And then number 10 is to make a day of plan of attack. Make a list of all of the things that you still need to do the day of so that you don't even have to think. Like you shouldn't even have to think about anything really. Like it's going to be time crunch. It's going to be stressful no matter if it's just for a few friends. I feel like we're always still kind of in a panic and always kind of stressed and running around like our heads are cut off. And obviously it's coming from a place of like we want everything to be perfect. So we're, stressing our own selves out when it doesn't need to be. But if you can write it down, you don't have to think, and you don't waste time thinking about what still needs to be done. So as you can see, I'm a big list maker. I'm a big to-do list maker because it makes life so much easier. Because throwing a party is not stressful. Even if it's small, it's going to have some level of stress. You have the pressure to make it perfect, and you want it done when everyone gets here, and you also want to enjoy the party yourself. I feel like as hosts, it can become a job, and then you're constantly having to do stuff for the party and for everyone else, and you don't actually get to enjoy yourself. So this year, for this last party, Romeo and I were really cognizant of like, it's okay if the dishes, just get put in next to the sink or in the sink. It's okay if we just leave stuff there and enjoy ourselves too, and reminding ourselves that like, okay, we threw this party, let's enjoy it, kind of thing. So it's not like we have someone in here cleaning up after all of us. It's and I feel like a lot of pressure goes on to the host and the homeowner, like whoever lives there, like to make everything perfect or to clean up the mess and stuff. So we try and remind ourselves that it's okay if everything doesn't get cleaned right away. Let's enjoy the party and let's be present in the moment. And we also tell everyone not to come early or late, like come on time, like be here. Like we set the time, like it's noon, come at noon, don't come early unless you're coming to help. And that's a big thing. You can ask for help. If it's going to be too much on you, especially as family, like have someone come over to help you prep. We had that. Romeo's sister came over. She's an amazing chef. So we had her come over to help with like some of the dishes because we knew she would do it far better than us. And so she came early that day, to help out. So always ask for help and to take the stress off for sure. But at the end of the day, if it's not exactly how you planned it, it's still going to be so amazing. The effort and the intention that you had behind throwing a party is what really you get the credit for, and what people are really going to remember. And even if you did one more thing than you normally would have, it's that much more special of a day and that much more special of a party. It's really about being with family and being with friends and in a really special way. So I'm already starting to think about, Christmas ideas and Christmas plans. We're going to have Christmas here this year, and we're going to be traveling back to Texas and Louisiana for Christmas with my family, which I'm going to help my mom plan. That's going to be really fun. And that's a little different because we're traveling, to certain places. So it's a little bit harder. It's going to be really fun. So I hope that inspires you to have a party or takes a little bit of the stress off. If you've been thinking about hosting someone this year, have a little bit of a guide, so to speak, and you're on the right path now. So there were a few dilemmas that people sent in, not specific to hosting related, but I found a few that were more like decorating for the holidays that I thought were relevant. So Danielle sent in, how do you balance decorating for the holidays with the already existing decor style in your everyday home without making everything in your home too overall neutral, because then that's boring when it's not holiday? For example, I've chosen a gorgeous blue and cream Turkish rug for our living room, but for Christmas, a lot of my decor is like reds and sage greens, which sort of clashes with the blue colors of my home. I don't necessarily want my everyday style to be overall neutral either, but it can be difficult to decide on investment pieces and decor you don't want to change regularly if you're also trying to match with holiday decor. Another example is deciding on drapes for my dining room. I love the idea of doing a twill fabric, but I worry that it would not allow me to decorate for the seasons as easily as if I choose a more neutral gingham print. Last example, I have some cute blue and green block print pillows for my breakfast nook in my kitchen, and they definitely clash with fall and autumn colors I want in my kitchen. Any advice and suggestions you would have would be great. Perhaps I'm overthinking it. So she put in a few pictures, and I'll put them on the screen, and they definitely have like all the things that I really love, like the blues. I gravitate towards blue and white china, and I have obviously gotten myself into a similar situation in the kitchen specifically. Now, a lot of it is more moody neutral. Like we have dark wood cabinetry, we have a black oven, we have white accents, and the walls are a warmer off-white beige color. But I painted our hood blue, and I have definitely found myself gravitating towards specifically green For some things that I'm like, oh, it's hard to do green because I have a blue hood. And I have found myself like in this kind of predicament of design because I have to be cognizant of something so substantial I did in a space for like every day, So when I was thinking about decorating for fall, I have these green stems that I was like, oh, I'll put those in the big pot on the dining room table. I'm like, no, I won't because they don't look good with my hood, And so, like, even being in here, like, I picked up some pumpkins that had some green undertones and I couldn't put them in here. You can see if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I have orange and like a blue beige color. And so it really makes you think more about how to incorporate decor when you're going into the seasons, fall and Christmas and stuff. And so what I like to do anyways is I like to mix colors. And I don't think that has to be so like, oh, all of your Christmas decor has to be red and green. But most of the time, like you're saying, you already have that stuff. So how do you make your fall or your seasonal decor go with your home when it already has its own identity, right? So one idea and one thing that I'm going to do is actually bring the color that I have into the decor in some way. So like for Christmas, if I'm going to put anything in the kitchen or I'm going to be obviously decorating the table to be holiday and Christmas season, like decor, I need to bring now blue into that. I need something of my hood to be mixed in so it looks more purposeful and it looks more like it fits. So like you're saying how you have like the blue and cream Turkish rug. Well, you're obviously not going to change out your rug. I mean, you could, but who's going to do that? No one's going to change out their rug in their living room just because it's the seasons, which is really cool if you do, if you have a spare rug somewhere, but like you have this blue and cream Turkish rug. You just need to have something that's blue mixed in, right? So mixed into your fall decor or mixed into your holiday decor. Like you said, you have like reds and sage greens. So that's going to clash with the rug. And I feel you. And I think that like the red, I think will look good, but it could also be like red, white, and cream, like red, white, and blue. It would start to look patriotic in some ways. You just have to kind of like mix some things together. So what I would do is kind of look on Pinterest and see if any, like look up specifically like blue holiday decor. It's not going to be pretty. I feel like well, maybe I've never looked it up. Maybe people have done it like so beautifully, but maybe there's something in there that you can incorporate like winter, like maybe you could like decorate more like for winter and then sprinkle in some of the other things so that it's not so jarring, because winter white and snow is at its core blue. It's a blue toned color, so you do kind of have to adjust your holiday decor to match your home, and so it's not always what we've had, like for years and years. And I'd hate to say that you have to like get rid of some things. You just have to reinvent them and you have to think about them a little differently and mix them in thoughtfully instead of it being such a jarring change. A great thing, like you mentioned, you have blue and block print blue and green pillows. Pillows are just something that I always swap out. I don't keep them year round. Like I have some like those blue and green block prints I would keep for like the spring and summer, but for fall I would have new pillows that I put out, and then for winter and Christmas I'd have even new ones. So pillows and those types of things that you can swap easily, I would swap. I wouldn't keep them around. The rug I wouldn't swap out because that's like harder to do. And then your drapes, you're right, you don't swap those out. But a toile can just as easily be beautiful in spring and summer as it is, in other times of year. But I see what you mean, and I see like how it can clash. I hear you. I think it can be a struggle, but I hope that gave you some tips on kind of incorporating the colors that you have in your everyday decor into your seasonal decor, and see if that will help. Because even the pictures that you put in, like I can totally see those spaces having holiday in them and having like fall elements and still having those elements, those blue elements. Layla sent in, how do you create the most extravagant seasonal decor at home without it looking costumey? Whether it's summer, fall, Halloween, or Christmas, think Hallmark movie homes. I'd love to learn how to create a cozy atmosphere all around that also looks elegant and intentional. So I was struggling, backstory, I was struggling with decorating for fall this year. And for the same reasons, I was like, "Ugh, I don't want it to look like overdone or costumey, or, I want it to be really intentional and beautiful. And I want my home to feel like, like that it's with the season, but not like overdone or cheesy." And so I kept struggling with decorating for the better part of a month, actually. I couldn't decorate. I had things that I wanted to use. I would try to decorate. I'm like, this isn't working. Something's wrong with this. I don't like this. It dawned on me one day that I was thinking about decorating for the season the wrong way. Especially fall, what I love most about fall is like the feeling and the coziness. And I started thinking about ways that I could update my home and change the things in my home to just speak to the feeling of fall and to create a cozy and warm home without focusing so much on what more decor can I bring into my house. And of course, I wanted to do it in some way. So I did a whole video on my YouTube channel, on my main channel, XO McKenna, where I gave you guys 8 ways to create a cozy home for fall and winter. And it's ways that you can really update your home for just that, like to make your home so cozy. And I spent like a week and went through and made all of these updates to my home. And I cannot tell you how impactful it felt. Like you have to think about changing your lighting and how you enjoy the space. And of course, decorating, but I picked a space that I see a lot, but it's tucked away and it's out of the way. The layers and the things that I bring into my home, and overall creating that feeling of warmth and coziness. So it can be overdone. Now for Christmas, I feel like I am a little more is more on the Christmas decor. And I hear you. I mean, I watch a lot of, as bad as some Hallmark movies are, tough to get through, I totally watch them. Sometimes I feel like I've been craving it recently. I've actually put a few Hallmark movies on in the background while I'm working on something. And a couple of them were holiday themed. And I did look at the houses and I was like, oof, that's a lot, So I get you. You don't want your home to feel like that, and you want it to be intentional and elegant. You just have to pick the right pieces, and you have to be really thoughtful about what parts of your house you decorate and not overdoing it, but thinking more about the way that your home feels instead of the way that it looks. I think that goes a long way with when you're decorating for the seasons. Looking too costumey, like for Halloween, like our driveway is decorated for Halloween right now, and it's so kind of over the top, but in a thoughtful way, I think. At least I picked a color and it's all orange, and we did pumpkins, and it's very on theme that way. But it kind of goes into that like costumey. I think that's the whole point of Halloween, though. Like, I think it's supposed to go that direction. But I know for Christmas specifically, I'm going to be going like all out inside and outside. I've got sleighs, I've got things, but I always tend to add a level of polish to my like even Christmas decor, and I do stay kind of on whatever theme I'm picking. I think that's a big thing that we've been talking about. Like a theme can go a long way, and think about what kind of theme you want for Christmas this year and what you already have that fits that theme, that can work in that theme. And then the other things, what could you DIY on them? How can you elevate them or change them? Maybe you have ornaments that you can like spray paint a different color, or do a DIY on. Maybe you have garlands that you can incorporate a different ribbon into that will make it more on theme. So for me, I always love warm lights for Christmas. So I make sure that all of my lighting throughout the house is always very warm, and it keeps it really cohesive. So you have to think about those little touches make a big difference. So start with a theme, and then go from there. I hope you guys are excited about the upcoming seasons. We're very much in fall, even though it's not feeling like it, but it is October and it's very warm outside still. But we're really excited to celebrate these holidays and celebrate with family and family gatherings and host for the season, especially because it's our baby boy's first everything. It's his first Halloween, his first Thanksgiving, his first Christmas. We cannot wait to make memories in this home with him. And I feel like hosting and family gatherings and making every party and every gathering special promotes those memories and creation of memories and activates those, those core memories that you remember always. And taking a lot of photos. I took tons of photos at the parties and him with all of our family members, and it was just really special. So hope you guys are excited about gathering with family this season, and it gave you some ideas and hopefully took a little bit of the stress off if you are feeling a little bit stressed about hosting this year. I will see you guys very soon for another episode, so make sure you're subscribed or following along. And don't forget to check out my video, 8 ways that you can create a cozy home this season for fall and winter. I'll leave it linked for you, and I'll see you guys really soon. Bye, guys.